This is a prophecy for those who are trying to play God. I have received many visions and messages in the last few days, and this morning, this came in really, really strongly. They are playing God. They're trying to play the Almighty. And whether you believe in God or not, whatever belief system you have about the divine, creation, cosmic laws, it doesn't matter. Because what's happening right now is that the power structures have crossed a line. They have crossed a line, and when someone crosses a line and tries to play God, it does not end well for them. So, listen to this whole video. There's a lot of messages that came through, and it's very important for you to know this. You are divine. Beautiful children of the stars, beautiful divine empowered souls. This message today is very powerful and very, very clear. And I want to jump right into it right now. What you see unfolding in the globe, what you see unfolding, government after government, what they are doing right now, what they're doing obviously with mandating humans to do certain things. This is pretty unprecedented in modern times. I mean, we live in a modern world. Most of us, I know that there are over 40 dictatorships still on this planet, on the globe, that do not operate by any kind of cosmic law, that do not operate by any kind of democratic constitution. They are dictatorships. That is something completely different. I'm talking about the free West, the free countries of the world. The United States, Canada, for example. I live in Canada. I'm talking about those types of countries. In Europe as well, in Australia, and many countries all around the world that call themselves modern democracies. And what they have done, these countries, one by one, they are finding reasons to start going against their constitutions, specifically the part of the constitutions of our free countries that call us free citizens, that call us independent, free, that we have certain human rights. And they are breaching those human rights that are in those constitutions by mandating certain things, by taking away personal freedom. And the vision I got today is that they are playing God. And let me elaborate a little bit. We know that we are talking specifically about dividing society into two. Those who want to and do take the shot against the pandemic, and those who don't. And what those governments and their scientists have decided is that the one and only solution to stop the pandemic is for everyone to get the shot that they have deemed is safe and that will completely stop this, that is correct and that is right. Okay, fine. If they believe this is the right thing to do, that is okay. And when governments decide certain things, they can offer this to their populations. But what's happening is they have decided that there is one right answer. And this is the only answer. And everybody has to and must be mandated to follow this. That means that they're playing God because they are saying that they have the right to force people to put things, to put a medical thing, to put a substance into their bodies by force. And they're just one very small step away of doing it by force, because the measures they're putting into place is forcing and coercing and manipulating people by fear, by taking away their normal civil rights of having certain jobs, moving around, doing certain things. They're mandating the population of putting substances into their body. That is taking away their freedom, taking away their free will and choice. And I'm going to tell you something. Nothing, nobody, no reason in this world exists for someone to mandate and take away the free will and choice of another human being. There is no reason for that, because that is playing God. And they're saying, we are right, we are mighty, science equals God. What we are saying is the only choice, and you must do this, and you have no choice. So they are taking away our freedoms and our rights as human beings, as souls incarnate, and that goes against the cosmic laws of free will and choice. It goes against any kind of logic, any kind of reason, all the laws that exist in the cosmos. It goes against all these laws that we are born under. I mean, you have to understand, when you are born as a human being, you are born as a soul exercising free will and choice. That's one of the cosmic laws. And if someone tries to take that away from you, then they are playing God. And this is a channeled information that I got, that they are now playing God over us, and they have no right to do this, and this never goes well. Those who try to play God, I'm sorry to say this, and it might sound like a preacher, but they are damned. If they play God on such a massive scale, on the whole of humanity, it means that they are putting such heavy karma upon themselves that they're doomed. I'm sorry, but they're gonna go down. It's not gonna work. If you look at history, you look at the Third Reich, right? Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, Kim Jong-un today. I can say so many names. When we look at those, well, what do you think when you think about them? You think, wow, they're just doing what they think is right for the population, and what happened then is just because everybody thought it was the right thing to. What they did is what is happening right now under our noses in our own democracies. There is never a reason to force people, to divide people into categories, to take away free will and choice. There is never a reason. There is not a reason. And looking back at history, we learned that those were evil dictators that manipulated the populations, that did terrible things, that forced them to do terrible things. And in 50 years, 100 years, or even 10 years, we're going to look back at our leaders of today, and they're going to be in our history books with the same stigma. We're going to say, wow, look at these leaders, what they did. Look at what they did to the population. Look at how they forced them to do things. They were terrible dictators. That was the breakdown of democracy. That's what's going to be written in the history books. And you can't do that. You cannot do that and get away with it. I'm sorry. I'm talking to the leaders of the world, the politicians, and I mean, we're not even talking about those who truly rule the world. We're not even going there. We already know that our world is under the influence, under the control of very deep, strong, and negative structures, negative souls who are ruling the world. We already know that. We're not even talking about those. We're talking about the ones who are visible, the ones who actually believe that they're doing good, the ones that actually believe that they're doing the best for humanity. And I'm specifically talking about the general population. And isn't it interesting? Have you noticed? Isn't it so interesting how normal everyday people who enjoyed living in these free societies, I mean, now we know that the societies have not been so free and benevolent as we thought, but at least to a degree, the constitutions of democracy, of free will and choice were upheld to a degree. But isn't it interesting how the people who enjoyed these freedoms so easily, in 1 second, forget it all and say, yes, it's right to mandate this shot, this jab. It's right to mandate putting this over your face. Isn't it interesting how easily they switch and change and become people who forget the principles of life, the principles of of freedom of humanity, how we are meant to live, it's very, very interesting. And it says a lot about how humanity has evolved or not evolved. You know, and they say, no, it's to save us. I mean, in the past, the different leaders of the world have always used different reasons to take away people's freedoms. Always different reasons. In the very beginning, centuries back, it was just, you are a certain ethnic minority, you are a slave. Okay, that was accepted. That was the only reason they needed to enslave people. Everywhere in the world. In Europe, it's like, you're born a serf, you belong to the kings, you are not free, so that's just how it is. So you're a slave, and we will take everything, we will suck your life force, you have to pay us, you are not free. That was enough. That's not accepted anymore. Then came the wars. A war is a wonderful reason. You know, everyone's afraid, we're fighting, people are dying. It's a great reason to take away freedoms. That's what happened in the Third Reich. That's what happened in World War II, right? So now there's not that much war anymore here. Okay, so now, right, who's the enemy? Oh, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic, right? Another reason to take away people's freedom, right? So isn't it interesting how history repeats itself? And isn't it interesting how people are just not seeing this? And one thing that was channeled to me was those very people who are now saying, yeah, it's okay, mandate this, mandate that, it's okay, like it's for the good of all. Those people who are so easily, like seriously, I have to say the word brainwashed, manipulated, put under a spell, just don't want to go out of their comfort zone to see anything else. Those souls are the same reincarnated souls who did the exact same thing in the past centuries. I mean, if you look at the human population, most of us are reincarnated from former past lives. And we've gone through these kinds of cycles and through these same patterns. And those people who said yes in the Second World War, in the past centuries with the kingdoms and even going further back, the same ones who said yes and who went along and who threw the first stone, those are the ones that are now saying, yes, yeah, we got to mandate this. It's for the best of all. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? And it is them that are damned and doomed. Because I hope you who is watching doesn't think that way. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't. Because those who actually participate in taking away other people's freedoms, those who participate in that, are damning themselves again into a bigger karma. And it means they will repeat the same karmic cycles again and again, and they will never ascend. They will never be able to, move up. That's what we're trying to do right now. So the prophecy that I received is the very subtle little choices that you are making for or against humanity's freedom and evolution is very, very important. A small, subtle choice can truly damn you into a negative karmic cycle, because if you're doing something negative against yourself, that's bad enough. Most karma is actually that we go against our soul, that we sell our own soul, that we make choices where our soul screams, no, that's not aligned, that's not right, you're selling your soul. Okay, all right, that's bad enough, but if someone wants to do that, it's their free will and choice. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about taking on the karma of taking away another person's free will and choice. And the higher you are in the governmental levels, in the levels of authority, in the scientific levels, the higher up you are and the more influence you have on taking away humanity's free will and choice, the more damned you shall be. And this is my prophecy, that those people who are just doing what they think is right. I'm not saying, we're talking about the jab, obviously. I'm not saying take it or don't. If you want to take it, do it. I'm telling you, you are the master of your life and you can make your choice however you want. But as soon as you try to force and manipulate others and play God, that's when it'll strike you. That's where you will start on the negative spiral of the doomed, of the damned. because it's too big. It's just too big. And you're going straight to hell. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I know it's a little bit extreme and I don't usually talk like this, but this is the vision that I saw, and this is where that great split of consciousness, of society, of the earth may happen. And I'm not saying this is gonna happen. Things may completely turn around, and those people who have said yes to damning others into taking this or forcing them, those who perpetuated that, those who said yes, those people may repent and say, wow, I was wrong, I was manipulated, how could it be? It may still all turn around in the greater sense of humanity, but it may also not. It may also not. The greater part of humanity may still go down that path because they've done it many lifetimes before. And I'm sorry to say, but most earther souls that are not starseeds, tend to go that route because they are very complacent, they're very compliant. I feel that the starseeds have come many times to stop humanity from going downward in times of Lemuria and times of Atlantis and many different civilizations. And in the end, did they fail? Yes. Earth has not ascended yet. But I feel that each time that happened, there was a split, and part of the earth ascended up into the higher sphere, into the Venus sphere. And I feel that now it's a little bit different because the information, we have the internet, we have so many people who are awakened. You know, those old dark times, those Middle Ages, those old, crusty, old, very, very negative, oppressive systems have crumbled, and this is like a different layer. This is not as bad. So I do feel that we have a chance to bring humanity into a better path, but there may be a chance that that doesn't happen. And those people who are very aggressively perpetuating, taking away freedoms, breaching that godly law, that universal law, that divine law of free will and choice. It's a divine law, my friends. It's a cosmic law. You cannot take away the free will and choice of any other human being, especially not huge parts of society or the whole of humanity. If you do that, then it's over, my friend, for you. Then you are damned, you are doomed. And these are the words I will use because it's a very, very heavy crime. A cosmic crime, a divine crime, not a crime that is divine, a crime against divinity, a crime against humanity that you are perpetuating. Even if you say, yes, you know, this should be mandated, this should be. The word mandate does not fit into humanity. The word mandate should not fit into any democratic governing body or system, right? The higher 5D ways, well, there is no government. In 5D, there is no government as it stands. But a mandate is something so heavy, so dense, so negative, so service to self, that I see it as these thought forms that are being created by these people who are now damning themselves, are pulling the vibration of the earth down into such extreme density that there has to be a split. There has to be a split if that continues, and there will be a split. And those of us who don't go down that route will, in the end, be living on a completely different and free planet, because there's too many of us. There's just too many of us who value and who understand what true freedom and true cosmic law is. There's many of us who understand this, and I feel dismayed and sorry for all of those, especially the higher you go up. I mean, the higher you go, the more consciously aware the governing bodies and people are of what they're doing. And I mean, we know that there's negative soul groups and really deep dark agendas at play, but not even that. What I'm concerned about is the general population of positive souls who are now flipping, who are now being okay with breaching those really, really important cosmic laws. And it is a crime. It is such a crime. And I'm seeing, wow, like They don't know how deeply they are damning themselves. They don't know how much karma they are putting upon their shoulders. And one simple thing which kind of amazes me is, how can someone be so arrogant to think that what they are thinking is 100% right? This is God's law that everyone else should follow. Have they ever thought of, what if I'm wrong? What if, let's say I think I'm right, but what if I am wrong? If those people who are mandating all this would think for 1 second, what if we are wrong about the jab, about the science? What if it's not the greatest thing that will save everyone? What if it's the wrong choice? What if it's going to do such harm to individuals and humanity as a whole? What if it's not going to stop this virus, right? If they would think that, I think they would get a big shock, because if they're not right, and if they've forced everybody into their solution, and their solution is a wrong one, which I personally believe it is the wrong one, but for these people who think this, I mean, wow, right? Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine waking up one day, having been part of this mandate, pushing it, and then realizing I was wrong and all these people are suffering and we're going down because of what I did? I mean, that's a very heavy and very sad awakening moment. But that's why staying humble, staying grounded, staying aligned with your higher self, staying aligned with your divine self is so important. And then you will know when you are breaking a cosmic law, or when you are trying to play God. The scientists that are trying to play God, I mean, it's even if I knew I had the most the most effective and the only solution to this, if I knew this, if God himself told me this, right? Like, I'm not religious, I'm just saying, right? I would never even think about mandating this to everyone. I would say, listen, this is, look, this is the choice, do this. I would put out all the information and let people decide. And this is what we have to do. We have to let people decide for themselves. And we have to give people the right information to make that choice. And that's the second biggest crime. That's part of the first crime. That the governments, the ones who rule the world, even the ones who are at the top, who do have the best for humanity in mind. And I believe there are many, many people who have the best intentions for humanity. But that these people don't allow all the information to be put out there is incredible. And I know that we all kind of understand that there is so much censorship, and that voices are being repressed, and only the one voice of those who play God is put forth, the voice of God. That's why people are accepting it 100%, because yes, this is what it is. This is the ultimate truth. So the second biggest crime is subduing the information and skewing the information and not putting the information out there. They put information out there so you don't really have a choice. So, yep, this is what it is, and there's no alternative. And most people believe that and think that because they can't think out of the box. I don't know, for whatever reason. I still don't understand it 100%, but that's just how it is. So that is part of that crime against humanity and against humans, of not putting proper information out there of this one solution that you must take. So this is the prophecy, that if you know someone who is supporting mandates and supporting this whole mainstream narrative of this is a pandemic, you have to take the jab, doesn't matter what, it's all good and it's all safe, you have to do this and it's totally okay, and if you don't do this, you're out of society, and that's okay too. If you know anyone who's like that, perhaps try to just open their mind a little tiny bit, not even to who's right and who's wrong, just the principle of taking away freedoms of humans. Just that principle. Just alone the thought of forcing humans as a collective to do something is fascism, is dictatorship, is a crime. Just that very simple thing. And I'm flabbergasted. Like I said, I know I keep going on and on, but I am absolutely flabbergasted how any intelligent human being with any kind of concepts of conscience or morality or anything can say yes to this. It's like, I really don't understand. So I am a little bit surprised, and I just find it very, very interesting how humanity has not changed at all. The large part of humanity, a smaller part, yes, we have changed, but then have we really? We are starseeds, and if you're watching this, and if you are in agreement with what I'm saying, you have lived this same scenario, most likely many, many times in past lives, in the history of this earth, and most likely many, many times you have tried to help humanity rise, become free, and go into the higher states of consciousness of 5D, or at least free humanity. You've played your part in freeing humanity. So I think, I don't know, that's the question. Can people change? Can souls change? Do they change that much? What's happening now on Earth is showing me not really. And sometimes I wonder, is it really worth the work we're doing if we just keep doing this again and again, and humanity just slips back into those old patterns again and again? And the path that they're going down is a path that, if they knew that, they wouldn't do it. It's a very negative, a very dark path, but it is a path of choice. And if you don't choose it, you don't have to go there. You don't have to go there. You really don't, because we are going on a higher path of evolution. We incarnated into this system knowing that we want to transform and change it, and therefore we have to live in it, because if we don't live in it, we can't change it. So we are changing the system from within. So if you feel that you are selling your soul a little bit, you can see it from that perspective, but you can also see it from the perspective that you have to play along in the system to gradually change it, to bring consciousness into it. And if you do everything, even the parts where you're selling your soul, and I am aware of this every day, but I understand the part that I play. I understand when I eat some meat where I don't exactly know where it's from. Yes, I'm not a vegetarian. Sorry, guys. All right, just as an example, I use money to buy stuff. I buy things that may have been created in some labor camp or something. You know, I pay my taxes. I have to the government, and who knows, you know, if they put this into rockets to kill people. I am in this system, and I'm very aware that these choices that I'm making are not aligned to who I truly am. But I also know that I incarnated into this system that I have to live in to change it, to bring consciousness to it. And everything I'm doing it consciously. I know what I'm doing. I know it. And I try to minimize the damage I am doing by being in the system. And I'm consciously doing everything. I'm saying I'm doing this. I'm consciously doing it. And I know the effects it's having. And I know why I'm here. And I know that I have to use these systems at the moment because I am immersed in them. And there really is no alternative for me as a light worker to be visible. I'm giving, you know, my attention, money to big tech. I'm buying Apple phones. I'm on YouTube, right? I'm doing this in the system, but I'm doing it consciously. So if you feel that you are selling your soul or whatever choice you make, don't feel bad about it, but make it consciously. Make it consciously. Even with this, if you feel that you want to take this, because it is what you need to do right now in the moment, because it is your mission and your purpose, and you are doing this very consciously, knowing the agendas and saying, no, I am doing this because it's right for me. It will be okay. And I am supporting my path and my purpose, then also do it. Even though, of course, I don't recommend it, but that's the whole point. Even if I don't think it's right, I'm not going to say, you can't do this. Even if I have a different perspective, I would never force or coerce anyone to do what I think is right. I'm just telling you, this is my perspective. If you know what is right and aligned for you in the moment, for whatever reason and purpose you are doing what you're doing, do it. And do it consciously, without fear, with purpose, and knowing why you're doing it, right? All right, so don't be one of the damned ones. I know you're not, but that's what I saw, and that's what I wanted to share with you. And I know that you, beautiful divine starseed light worker, you, all of you, and me and all of us together, we will create a beautiful new world. Maybe not everyone will be on it, but that's their choice. If they want to be damned, they be damned. What can we do, right? We're doing our best, but we're going to create that beautiful world, and every single human will have the opportunity to jump on that train of ascension, I promise you. So keep doing your work. Just be awake and aware and know what's going on and be okay with it, all right? Thank you so much. Love you all. Natasha, Cosmic Empress.